Welcome to I Said What I Said, a sports podcast giving you opinions not heard anywhere else. I'm your host, Brad Wakai, alongside my co-host, Tyson Gentry. And Tyson, we're finally here, baby. College football is back, and we have a lot to discuss today as we go through the Week 0 preview. If you want to call it Week 0, some people are still pissed about that for whatever reason, but we'll go through the games that are on slate for Week 0, and then obviously get into Money Makin Time, where Tyson and I will give out our plays that we're into for this week. We have a play of the week that both of us agreed on, and then we're rolling out our first parlay that we're going to be doing every single weekend, and obviously parlays or whatever. So we're just having fun with it. Like, it's not like throw your house on it. We're just having a little fun, and we're not professional bettors at all. We just like to throw a little money around. So if you want to tail us, feel free to do so. And then obviously go check out our chalkboard that Tyson will tell you about at the end, where you can find all of our plays. But Tyson, the wait is finally over, man. Week 0 is here.
If we are under 24 hours from the Notre Dame Navy kick tomorrow as we record. So that's pretty exciting. The parlay thing is going to be fun. This is something we're going to be doing every week for the rest of the year. We'll explain the rules once we get into Money Making Time here at the end. But I do have to give a shout out to Miss Emma. That was one of the rules stipulations. If I look a little clearer today or sound better, you can thank her.
Tyson's girlfriend hooking him up, if you're watching on YouTube, a mic stand and then a beautiful camera so that we can see that gorgeous beard.
Yeah, I don't know what it's doing to my teeth, but these are not normally this white, so I'm excited.
All right, Tyson. Well, let's jump right into it. And you mentioned, like, we're under 24 hours until Navy and Notre Dame play over in Dublin, Ireland. And Notre Dame gets Sam Hartman over from Wake Forest in a transfer market that should upgrade their quarterback position. And Navy's coming into this game a little bit with some questions, because the new rules in college football, cut blocking, is no longer really allowed. They're going to cut back on that. So that really hurts the triple option attack from the service academies. They have a new head coach after parting ways with their longtime head coach last year. And the offense may be a little bit more upgraded, to say of a lack of a better term, but we haven't seen it yet. So this is a game that we have targeted for Money Making Time, just to highlight that. But what are you expecting from Notre Dame as we lead in here, as they're ranked 13th in the AP poll?
First of all, you don't upgrade from the triple option. That can't be right, because that is the way football is supposed to be played. I'm a little pissed that that's one of the changes. There's nothing better than when you turn on, like, last Saturday of the year, and then it's just Army and Navy running the shit out of the football. It makes you feel, like you in a little bit of a time capsule. This game, I am confused, because, as you said, and it's actually kind of a theme of the week with Hawaii as well, but we don't really know what we're getting with this new offensive system. Obviously, anything going from the triple option is a pretty huge jump, but especially once you kind of want to start spreading stuff out. Seems ambitious, but Notre Dame also is coming into this game. Last year it was really close, 35-32. They were dominating and then let Navy back in the game, and then it became a question of if they were even going to hold on as Marcus Freeman started his tenure. I don't expect that this time. I just think that last year there was a whole hell of a lot going on, a lot of emotions and things like that. And then this year, new quarterback, obviously, but Sam Hartman might be better as a college quarterback than most guys Notre Dame's had in the program here over the last 10, 15 years, which, sounds a little disrespectful, but, like, give me Sam Hartman over Ian Book or, like, whoever else that you want to name that's played for Notre Dame. They're going to score the ball. And, like, the weather and all that stuff is a huge concern for people. It's not for us, and we'll tell you about it as we get into it. But it's week 0, man. Give me the talent on paper 10 times out of 10.
So that's Notre Dame Navy, the first action of the 2023-2024 college football season, kicking off Saturday in Dublin, Ireland at 2:30 Eastern. Now, the next game, UTEP Jacksonville State, we're not going to dive into this too much, because Jacksonville State's making the jump from the FCS level. UTEP was pretty stingy last year in the Conference USA, returning back some guys as well. But Rich Rod back in the FBS level, Tyson.
Congratulations to him, and congratulations to all of us. It almost feels like the NCAA was like, hey, I don't know what to put on week 0. Let's just put up a guy that, like, everyone knows, and you love to hate him or you love to love him. That's who Rich Rodriguez is. With this game, man, it's not a great track record for teams making their debut, so to speak, at the big boy level, jumping from the FCS, especially one that doesn't really return anybody on the offensive or defensive line. Like, there's a couple guys and they have some studs there, but it's different, jumping from the FCS with a below average line and then replacing all those guys as you go up. And UTEP was 5-7 last year, and the market is a little juice to the over at 5.5 right now, telling you the books and the people think that they're closer to a bowl team than not.
I'm interested to see what they can do, Jacksonville State, that is, because everybody's kind of jaded a little bit by James Madison. Like, look at the jump that James Madison had. Like, wow. But that's the outlier, right? Like, it
They were
doesn't
also
really happen.
completely different programs at the FCS level. Like James Madison they weren't North Dakota State, but they were close to like Stephen F. Austin or the University of Montana, like that kind of level during their tenure. Like it was top fives every year. And Jacksonville State's not rolling over. They weren't playing in national championship games every other season.
Sam Houston State also making the leap this season from FCS to the FBS level. Now at 7 o'clock, we get UMass versus New Mexico State. And some people may hold their nose at this game. This is actually super interesting because a lot of sharp people, a lot of sharp bettors have put money on UMass. And now UMass is universally known as the worst program in college football. But there is some optimism surrounding the team from Massachusetts coming in. And then as far as New Mexico State goes, Tyson, Jerry Kill, the head coach there, they won a bowl game last season. Now they themselves, so they were in the pennant last year. This year, they're making the leap in the Conference USA. And so they have found a home in the Conference USA level. We'll see what happens there, as there's been some restructuring at the conference. But an interesting game, I think, for both sides to kick off the season.
Yeah, and if you mentioned the line movement, one of the things that's really interesting to me on this game is the total line. UMass is +7 right now. The first quarter line is plus half a point. And it's a little juice towards UMass. So they're almost telling you they think UMass is going to come out and win the first quarter, and then, things go downhill from there. But, dude, I'm excited for it because it's a college football game and we've been so starved. But I'm not setting my clock and making sure I'm watching the UMass game this week.
No, especially Tyson, because at the same time, at 7 o'clock Eastern, Ohio goes to San Diego State. And we like the MAC. We like Mountain West football. Like you and I both, like Mountain West, that's in our backyard originally, us growing up in Montana. And so we've seen the Boise States. Like we've seen San Diego State and like the powers of that program. Now, San Diego State, there's some question marks surrounding who's returning on that team for Brady Hoke's squad. And then Ohio is returning a ton of people after doing extremely well in the MAC conference last year. They get their quarterback, Tanner Rourke, back from a torn ACL. Apparently, he's going to be ready for this game. It's been a seesaw in terms of the betting market on San Diego State opened as 3.5 favorites, 3-point favorites. Now it's under a field goal. Now some people are moving it back to 3. So there's been a ton of movement here. The MAC normally doesn't fare well outside of their conference, but they perform much better outside of their conference in recent years in bowl games. But now they're going to San Diego State to take on a giant of the Mountain West who do have some question marks.
It's just hard at this point in the year to get really, really into the weeds on MAC schools. And we'll be, we're up every Tuesday and Thursday watching these things finish up and all that good stuff. We really wanted to take Ohio money line here for the parlay. We did not. A little spoiler alert for the people. But I think this is going to be a really good game. It's just you're relying on a team in Ohio that hasn't shown you that they can score the ball over and over and over again against a team that's basically built their entire reputation on, hey, man, we're going to sling the shit out of this. We're just going to try to find somebody in the back of the end zone. And so that makes it scary, especially in week 0, because this is a game where I think Ohio's too physical and going to kind of end up winning this football game, but there's a chance they just get run off the field in the first half and unable to keep up.
That's the question mark, right? Can they hold up physically? Because there's some issue, at least, maybe not necessarily issue the right word, but just like, how is this offense going to look for San Diego State? Is Ohio just going to absolutely blitz them offensively and try to run them out of the field through the air and allow San Diego State to try to come back from them by attacking their weak secondary? Can San Diego State even do that? So I think This is an interesting game. Like, I'm excited to see how these teams match up and how they stack up. But Tyson, 30 minutes later, we have Hawaii getting off the island to travel to Vanderbilt in a game that's a rematch from last year when Vanderbilt just absolutely stomped Hawaii 63-10 in the opener. there's some optimism surrounding Vanderbilt. There's some optimism surrounding Hawaii as they look to build off of a strong close to their year last season. What do you think about this one? Are you excited for this one as much as me?
I am. Well, first of all, I'm always excited for Hawaii football games. I just think they're one of the most unique experiences in college football. Unfortunately, everything going on in Hawaii right now, and so that adds a little bit of an emotional layer and things like that. But catch-22, right? They might come out fired up, or like their minds could be somewhere else with the fires and everything. But don't look at this game and convince yourself based on advanced metrics and stats that these teams are very close. Because when you look at the defenses, you're like, well, Hawaii's defense actually looks better in like EPA or whatever than Vanderbilt's does, because they were both absolutely bottom of the barrel. Vanderbilt was bottom of the barrel in the SEC, and they had to play quite a bit different level of competition last year than Hawaii. I expect this one to be not so much a coming out party, but maybe reminding people that Vanderbilt is closer to a year-over-year bowl team at this point, or at least that's where they're trying to get, than the doormats that we've become accustomed to.
And if you want to watch that, that's going to be on SEC Network. And at the end here, I'll run through the TV schedule too, for those who are just getting used to their viewing schedule here for college football.
I mean, I'm not promoting anything, but we certainly sail the high seas when it comes to finding these games.
That is 100% a fact. We got all the laptops in commission for the weekends. At 8 o'clock, San Jose State is taking on USC. And it feels interesting when you go through the week 0 schedule. Obviously, you got Notre Dame at Navy. That's a big game. That'll draw for NBC. But you have San Jose State taking on USC, who just missed out in the college football playoff on the Pac-12 network. Like, guys, no wonder the Pac-12 is going out of business.
Yeah, it's going to be an instance where there's going to be a lot of engagement on social media with all the ridiculous highlights I think that USC is probably going to put up in this game on offense, but nobody's going to really watch. And then we're going to go into it, and people are going to be saying in week 1 or week 2, week 3 that USC, like, look at how many points they've scored to start the season, when I think it's going to come pretty easy to them. And we'll get into them. They actually they made the cut for the next segment here, so we'll dive in a little deeper.
Yeah, that should be a high-scoring offense. Cordero's back for San Jose State at quarterback, so that's something to keep an eye on, like how that offense continues to look, and if USC's defense is even better, because you have an experienced unit back for San Jose State on the offensive side. Will they be able to take advantage of USC, or have they actually addressed the issues that they had last year? Because that's all we heard this offseason. Keeping up.
Who's the coordinator?
Defense. Yeah, well, Alex Grinch. He's not on our Christmas list.
Have they ever? Has he ever like gotten much better year over year? It's the same defense no matter where he goes, dude.
No, it's brutal. Now, Tyson, the nightcap, Florida International travels to Louisiana Tech in a night game at 9 p.m. Eastern. New faces across the board. FIU lost a ton of production. La Tech gets a new quarterback and Hank Backmeyer transferring in from Boise State. They have some production returning. This should be a one-sided affair, and we'll get into that a little bit later, but always nice to have a little Louisiana Tech offense late for the nightcap.
Yeah, they did us a favor here, because one of our favorite things to do is to bet overs once everybody else is asleep, because it just seems like weird shit happens when the sun goes down in college football. FIU was not going to supply that offense to us, but luckily somebody came in from the top rope and was like, hey, man, we got to move this thing up. And it's not like Louisiana Tech is coming in here with the best offense in the country. I think they were like 61st in scoring average last season. But when you compare that to a team that was 120th out of 131 teams, that's a pretty big difference.
Absolutely. So that's your week 0 preview here. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games to tickle the fancy of the college football fans out there. I can't wait. I'm going to watch probably every single one of them.
So when's the official cutoff for you that week 0 ends and week 1 begins? Do you agree with everybody else?
Yeah, it's week 0. Because, come on, who else is playing? But as soon as here's the cutoff, Tyson. When the whistle blows in the fourth quarter of Louisiana Tech, Florida International, that's when week 0 starts.
Well, it's just the confusing part to me, and I call it week 0 as well. But like, we got all these games on the 26th, and then we have games on the 31st, the first day and the second, and then we have more games like on Monday. It's just confusing. It should be week -1, really, because week 0 is kind of next week.
Money Makin Time is here, boys and girls. Tyson and I are going to be going through all of our picks anything that we like. And then if we do add anything or our live plays, because we're going to be attacking the live markets this season as well, join our chalkboard, which Tyson will tell you about at the end. But we're going to start off the college football season with a play in the first game of the year. It's our play of the week. We're both on this. We're taking Notre Dame minus 20.5. Now, Tyson, we went back and forth a little bit attacking this market, seeing what we could find, and we ultimately decided on, hey, let's lay Notre Dame minus 20.5. Now, there's been some money that's opposed us with Navy. I think a lot of people like the low total, high number here that the Service Academy normally provides, especially when you consider these college football rule changes where the clock doesn't stop after a first down anymore. But why did we settle on this one?
Well, it was tough because we were trying to talk ourselves into, oh man, is Navy going to score 14 points? Like, are they going to get 2 tuds and then it's easy and it's wrapped up? I wanted to play a first score field goal. Brad was being a huge hater on that, which I understand. But basically, better players, established scheme, like real aspirations to do something, potentially a bad taste left in your mouth last year. And at the end of the day, everyone's talking about the weather and things like that. When you Google it, it just tells you it's probably going to rain like 0.3 inches or something like that for 1 hour and be done. Now, it's Ireland and things can change quickly, and we know that, especially like we're golf guys. So it seems like every week, no matter what the report is, it just does its own thing. And if it gets soaked and, the final score ends up being 17-3, we lose, obviously, but that's not the way I see this going. I just think they're going to come out right away and want to score a lot because this is a tone setter for who Notre Dame wants to be this season. And no disrespect to Navy. I think Navy has a good program and actually has a good thing going, but it's just this is a different level.
Tyson, last year when these two teams played, Notre Dame at halftime was up 35-13. They did not score in the second half, and Navy made a run at them, scoring 19 in the second half. Notre Dame wins the game 35-32. You can't just look at the box score. And I know a lot of people are going to do that. Oh, Notre Dame only won by 3 last year. Guys, they got an upgrade at quarterback in Sam Hartman. They're not going to score 0 points against this team in the second half. There's a lot of question marks about Navy. I don't think people are necessarily taking that into account here. Like, we don't know what this offense is going to look like for Navy. Like, we have no clue. Notre Dame has improved as an overall talented unit. Obviously, when you lose Brian Kelly, some players are going to transfer. That reduces their pool that they had to work with last year. Second year under their head coach, Marcus Freeman. I think if he's good coach, which jury's still out, but he's going to adjust from things that they did last year. When they were big favorites, they allowed the other team to cover those big numbers. That could be different this year. I think they're going to be motivated. I think they're going to be ready to put up a big number, and they want to make a statement on national TV over there in Ireland. And they're going to have a huge, huge backing, obviously, over there as well.
It's basically a damn home game. Like this is a pilgrimage to get to where they really should play every Saturday, probably for Notre Dame. But it'll be higher scoring than last year's game in Dublin. I can guarantee that.
So we took this on DraftKings Sportsbook. It was minus 110. We used their 100% profit boost. Yes, 100% profit boost on Notre Dame minus 20.5 to get that up to plus 181 for those interested in tailing us. That is the play we're going with as our play of the week this week. Now, Tyson, I have 2 other plays that I'm laying out here on the show before we get into our parlay. My first one's USC San Jose State first quarter over 14 points at minus 128. And I'm taking this because I just love the fact that it's landing on 14 so I can get a push if there's 2 touchdowns scored. I expect USC to come out absolutely firing and getting their season off to a hot start, making sure that Caleb Williams propels himself forward as they get into this campaign. And I just think they're going to be able to attack San Jose State's defense through the air and really be able to churn this thing out and score points and get high explosive plays. And if USC's defense isn't improved, the returning production that San Jose State offers, we could even get a cherry on top with their points. I absolutely love this at minus 128 in the first quarter.
Yeah, and I have a play here that we'll get into for the next one, and I don't want to spoil anything, but I agree.
Do you have a play you're playing besides that we have in our parlay in the play of the week?
No, taking it pretty light this year on week 0. I've had a tendency in the past to get a little bit too excited, and it's just tough to lay down 7 bets, hit 3 to start the year or whatever, hit 4 because you haven't been able to see anybody. So trying to be a little bit more pocket friendly, I suppose.
Yeah. No, absolutely. That's definitely a strategy. I'm taking that action over on FanDuel Sportsbook. And then my second play, I'm taking USC laying them points, minus 30.5 at minus 112 here in FanDuel as well. Now, it's a big number. I'm trusting USC's offense to get off to a good start here. And I think the defense is actually going to prove that they're ready to play. Like, all they've heard all offseason is that they suck. And when you do that to people and you have a lot of time off, they're going to be ready to go. And so with the new transfers coming in who want to make a name for themselves, oh, it didn't work out there. What happened to these kids? Well, they want to make a name for themselves here at USC. I expect them to put a big number up, and I expect the defense to hold San Jose State to a moderate amount of points. I think they will score, but not enough for USC not to cover this number. I'm going to go against some buyback here that's brought this down from 31 to 30.5. I like it here. I think USC can win by, what was that, 5 scores. I expect them to cover this number. Minus 112 is my second play.
This is my favorite way to bet early season college football. It's just like basically a money machine when you can take the best team playing in the week at home against like for a long time it was Bama, and it didn't matter if they were playing Miami or whoever. They were going to put a boot in somebody's ass to start the year. 30 sounds like a ton, and when we get into the NFL, nobody ever touches a number over like 11.5. And then in college football, like when you're looking at this, you're like, it's only 30.5. It's a different beast.
Okay, well, that's going to do it. Let's get to our week 0 parlay, Tyson. And so we set up some ground rules a little bit on our last episode where we went through the SEC. We teased it a little bit, but why don't we lay it out here? Tyson, what's our strategy here for our parlay that we're doing every single week?
Yes, and we will have a better name for it. We are workshopping a little bit right now. If you have any ideas, throw them in the comments. Shoot us a text, a DM on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, whatever that you want to do. TikTok, who cares? But basically, it is going to be a minimum of 4 legs every week. We can go over if we need, but the real key to this is that it will be at plus 1,000 or greater every time. So if there is a play later in the season that we both love at plus 250, it'll make it a hell of a lot easier to get there. We can go up to plus 1,000,000. We never probably will, but we absolutely will be at least at plus 1,000. And we'll be utilizing as many boosts and things like that we can, but that does not. We can't boost something from plus 750 to plus 1,000. The baseline has to be 1,000 before we get into it. And it's a little easier with 4 legs than it is when you're trying to make your own at home.
Yeah, absolutely. And so this is going to be something fun. And like we said at the top, it's just something to kind of roll over and see if we can hit something. Just have a little fun as we're watching. Like
we're chasing the dragon because we hit like 11 player props or whatever in primetime last year for the NFL to start. And so now we're just like, how do we do that in college football?
So this will be something fun. And so if you want to tail us, like we'll have it on our social medias, like Tyson mentioned, and see if we can hit something. So let's get into what we're playing for week 0. And now we took UTEP money line at minus 120, and this is all on DraftKings. So it's plus 1227 before the boost that we got it up to plus 1841. So $10 is going to net you $184, or win you $184. You'll bring in $194 total. That's what Tyson and I have played here. So we got UTEP money line at minus 120, Vanderbilt minus 17, which we bought down off the hook of 17.5 to get us down to minus 124. We took USC in the first quarter minus 8 to get us a nice plus 110 number there. And then Louisiana Tech, we're laying the points at minus 112. Tyson, let's go through each of these legs. We kind of teased a little bit of our analysis. So let's start with UTEP. What did we like here?
So basically, I think, and I believe you're in agreement with me on this, UTEP is just going to win the line of scrimmage. And look, that's when you're playing a team like Jacksonville State. And if you go back, if you look through and you're like, oh, this is a Rich Rod team, like they put up points, this is going to be easy. They run the shit out of the football. That's how they want to beat you. They ran for like 250 yards a game last year. They threw for like 175, right? So now they're making a jump up in competition against a team that they're probably conservative estimate for me is probably 75% of the snaps here they're going to lose in the line of scrimmage. And that's just, you cannot come up and beat somebody. Why did North Dakota State, when they popped up, why were they able to handle Iowa State and whoever else was in front of them? Because they won the line of scrimmage every time. How did App State beat Michigan all those years ago? Because they won the line of scrimmage. That's really the only way to beat a team better than you, unless you have like a generational quarterback or talent. If Cooper Kupp is on the field, you have a shot as an FCS school. They don't have one, right? And so now you got nobody returning of note on that offensive line versus like players that are better than anybody you played last year. It's going to be tough.
And they don't have a long way to go traveling to Jackson, Alabama, coming over from Texas. Like it's not anything that's going to be weather deterrent, anything weather related where they're going to be at a disadvantage. And so we're going to lay the short number with UTEP. Tyson, our next leg, Vanderbilt minus 17. Now we're both in agreement here. Vanderbilt has SEC talent. Vanderbilt should dominate this game like they did last year. Now we love Timmy Chang in Hawaii. They just don't have the guys to compete with what Vanderbilt's building here.
I mean, that's the whole thing. And then on top of it, like we're Hawaii fans and we like watching them, but like they're a bottom of the barrel roster in college football. Vanderbilt is not. I'm not going to sit here and be like they recruit like Georgia, but they recruit a lot closer to teams that kick the shit out of Hawaii every season than anything else. And plus, at 17, we would have liked it at 16.5, but I just think one team is going to be able to take advantage of, like, they both have the same weaknesses on defense. The difference is Vanderbilt's offense is just much better.
Hawaii also 0-6 away from the island last season as well. That's a big factor. Now this is one that might raise people's eyes. USC first quarter -8. Now it's not a great number, right? So if they win by a touchdown, we lose this bet. But Tyson, at plus 110, what was our thought process going into this one?
Well, first of all, we placed this and immediately, like almost simultaneously, the line moved to -7.5 for plus 120.
Sharp,
so
they wanted to move it off of us.
Something like that. Basically, there's two ways that this first quarter can go in my head, right? So if we walk it through, USC gets the kick. You think Lincoln Riley's going to come out and not try to score the shit out of the football in the first quarter with a national championship contender at home in week one with everybody pumped up? Students are back. They want something to watch. The other side, right? San Jose State gets the ball first. You don't think USC's defense is going to want to prove something, immediately get those guys off the field in 3 snaps, and then all of a sudden all we lost was a minute and a half? USC is scoring the first time they touch the ball. They're probably going to score the second time they touch the ball. It's kind of likely to me they're going to score the third time they touch the ball. And I would have played this at 9.5, dude. Like I don't see a way that this first quarter is competitive at all.
And this plays into my play as well with over 14 for the first quarter points. We both think that USC probably wins the first quarter dominantly, obviously laying 8. But we're thinking, even in our heads, as we kind of simulated this, it could be 21-0 at the end of the first quarter. And we're looking pretty good here on that one. So we're getting plus money for that. We're going to take a shot on that in the 4-leg parlay. Lastly, what we're close on, Louisiana Tech -12 as the last leg of the week 0 parlay as they take on Florida International. Now, Tyson, FIU has just lost a ton. They've been decimated by the transfer portal. They've been decimated by people leaving from graduation, and they really are a shell of what they're offering. And then on the other side, Louisiana Tech, they got a ton back, man, and they get an upgrade at quarterback as well. Their running back room is pretty stout. They have good wide receivers. Like, this, to me, just has mismatch written all over it.
So FIU was 121st in scoring offense last year. They were 127th in scoring defense last year. So, like, part of me is like, well, the new guys have to be a little better, right? But the other part is, like, they're at FIU for a reason. And I'm not trying to, like, dismiss that program. But in the state of Florida, that kind of seems to be where you end up if you can't play at one of the number of other schools in the region that are throwing scholarships at these guys. And, like, are they going to score enough? Because, like, Joseph, their leading running for last year, towards ACL, he's out for pretty much the majority, if not all, of this season at this point. So that's their best player, right? On a team that was atrocious a year ago, loses their best player before going into this. Louisiana Tech is rolling out a new quarterback, so we'll see how that goes. But again, 2 touchdowns, that's all you're telling me between one of the worst teams in college football and a team that's at least bowl hopeful this season? That seems like a smash to me.
So one last look at our week 0 parlay. UTEP money line, Vanderbilt -17, USC first quarter -8, and Louisiana Tech -12, which gets you, with the DraftKings boost, plus 1841. I'm confident, man. I'm feeling good about this. We did some homework. We dove into it, and wouldn't it be great to hit the first one in this series?
That would be. I mean, that's the thing is Brad and I have never lost a bet as soon as we placed it. It's only once the game starts. So we we sound pretty confident right now. Things will change, but part of the reason we wanted to leave the Notre Dame Navy game off of this parlay is because it's no fun for everybody at home that wants to tail this with us if we lose right away, right? Or you don't want to hit at noon and then have to wait until 9 p.m. or whatever. So we kind of consolidated as the season goes along and the slate grows tenfold. It's going to be harder to do that, but that's one of the goals that we have here too, is make sure that we can at least get a little sweaty. Like, none of these are going to be easy or free, but this might be the most confident one we do all season.
That is it for Money Making Time. We'll be back next week as we run through week 1. We're going to do the best games, highlight that as we did the start, but really go into those, and then be back again in the second half of the episode going through Money Making Time. And we tease this, Tyson, our chalkboard app, where they can find all of our plays, anything live that we're going into, anything else. Like, we are going to track what we do on the show, each and every bet that we place in our Google Sheets app here. So don't worry. Like, we're definitely going to track that, and we'll tell you if we did good. We'll tell you if we did bad. But we also have more plays in our chalkboard if you want to tell everybody where they can get to that.
Yes, chalkboard app, App Store, Google Play, wherever you download your apps. I got it in front of me this time because I've seemingly messed up the name every single time. The group name is ISWIS Presents the Roundtable Bets, and you can get there by typing in the Roundtable. We'll be on there. ISWIS will pull us right up as well. It's free. We don't charge anybody anything because I just think that's look, man, nobody's rolling over 85% of these things, and that's about all I'm going to pay for. All right. So it's just us in there throwing our picks down. It's a group of other people as well. It's not just like Brad and I ruling with an iron fist. Get in there and say, hey, man, like, you guys are wrong. San Jose State's going to come out and like put a whooping on USC to start the game. And, maybe a little friendly wager in the chat, but there's no look, we got no rules or guidelines. Say pretty much whatever you want in there and we'll be okay with it. So hop in there, ISWIS, the Roundtable Bets. Just come have a good time.
And if you need the vent, because we all know how it goes, feel free to jump in there as well. You can like, subscribe, and share in the show. In the meantime, we'd really appreciate that. As always, we love that you guys are interacting with us when you do. If you comment, just let us know what you think. You can stay connected with us on our social media channels. Twitter, I guess it's X now. So X, Instagram, TikTok is all the same at ISWIS_pod. Like I said, we'll be back next week previewing week 1 of college football. Want to shout out Tyson. He's playing hurt today. He got sick, so he's dealing with the cough. He's dealing with the voice thing right now, but he had to give out these picks for you guys because that's what we love to do here.
I apologize if people could hear me breathing or whatever. I was trying to mute as much as I could. I got the vid, man. Back at it again.
Well, you know what cures that? A nice parlay hit, as we've been giving out.
I actually, it's tough right now to have COVID and have to isolate and be by myself with the week 0 slate coming up. It's almost, it worked out all right. I don't feel so good, but this is like as close as I'm going to get to having my March Madness vasectomy.
Well, we hope you guys enjoy the games as much as we will this weekend. We'll be back next week breaking down a lot more about college football, as well as getting you ready for the NFL season as well. We'll speak to you guys soon. Enjoy your weekend. Peace.